Day in October on a Wednesday where you just want to go out and join your bowling league, and we have seen this and heard this so many times in so many communities, and we felt so sad for those people and for those communities, and now we are that community, and now we are those people that the rest of the country is watching and feeling bad for.
Right.
And that's just
We do have crews. We have seen Jack Mohammed tonight. Alex Haskell is in Lewiston as well. Caroline LaCour is also live with us tonight, I believe in Portland tonight. Caroline, what can you tell us about what's happening there right now? Jack was describing hearing the medical helicopters in the air there.
Yeah, good evening, Brian. We have not seen any helicopters so far, but we just see an ambulance pull in from Turner right behind me. I'm right standing in front of the emergency center here at Maine Medical Center in Portland. Maine Medical Center is the only level 1 trauma center in the state. The trauma center levels level 1 through 5 refers to the resources available to take care of a patient that has gone through a traumatic injury. So they do have the resources here to take care of patients, but it has not been confirmed that victims have been here yet. But we will keep you updated as we learn more. Back to you, Brian.
Caroline LaCour outside a hospital in Portland tonight. We anticipate, if the numbers are as large as we are learning, that patients, victims, would be taken to some of these other facilities.
And you hear the number of 22 people killed, and one person is staggering, right? 22 is beyond our recognition here. To put it in perspective, last year, 2022, in the state of Maine, there were 29 homicides for the year. And at least what we have confirmed for right now is 22. It's beyond comprehension that something like this happened. And it's not settling to say, well, it was a matter of time.
Right.
It's not comforting. It's not what should happen anywhere. But certainly this is our home, and this is where we live, and these are our people, and these are our friends and our family. And we're just starting to hear from people who know somebody who was at the bowling alley, who know somebody who was at the bar, and it's becoming very personal and very real for them. And for all of us, you don't have to know these people to hurt for these people, and to feel for these people. And these are our neighbors. And this is what this state has always been about: is loving our neighbors. And whether it was as relatively simple as the ice storm of '98 to something as tragic as tonight, we rally for our friends and our neighbors, whether they're strangers or we've known them our whole lives. And the whole state is rallying around itself tonight as we try to learn more, try to comfort those who we're learning about, and try to find out more, and ultimately try to catch this person.
So again, the search continues at this hour for this gunman tonight, who NBC News again reporting through Lewiston police, 22 people killed. You were looking moments ago at a map that showed Spare Time Recreation, a bowling alley in Lewiston just off Main Street. That is one of the scenes tonight. The other was Smenji's Bar, which is also in Lewiston, kind of more toward the center of the city, if you will, in the grid streets. And police right now say this person is not in custody. We are still awaiting word from the Department of Public Safety, Maine State Police obviously involved, federal agents involved from the Boston office coming up here as well. So there are kind of two tales unfolding at this hour tonight, as Jack was telling us, with families waiting outside the hospital at Central Maine Medical Center waiting to find out the condition of their loved ones. There are certainly easily 24 families in that position at this hour, waiting for answers, waiting to find out what happened, and presumably more with family members who were injured. And then there is the active search underway right now. Our crews who have been traveling up to Lewiston tonight have said that going up 95 at the exits along the way, there were stationed cruisers with spotlights out. And that is what the manhunt looks like right now. Again, Lewiston is in a shelter in place. Auburn is as well, because this person's whereabouts are unknown right now. So again, you're looking at the photos of this man tonight. You can see him holding what appears to be a weapon, walking into Spare Time Recreation tonight. And police have shared multiple angles of him in the vehicle they believe he's driving right now, that white Subaru Outback with a black front bumper.
I want to update on what you just talked about the towns that had the shelter in place. So just coming in from the Androscoggin County officials, they have issued a county-wide shelter in place. This is everybody in Androscoggin County. They want you to make sure your homes, your vehicles are secured, and they will continue to update as they are warranted. But that is that's the whole county of Androscoggin County. So wherever you
which
are.
is a large area.
Yeah.
Those are Lewiston and Auburn, obviously, are the largest communities there, but stretches much further from that, obviously. Latest census data puts it at about 110,000 people. Being told right now to stay where you are. Do not go out. That is the word from Androscoggin County Sheriff's Office tonight. So again, just a few notes that we're continuing to recap for you. Lewiston does not have school tomorrow. Central Maine Community College does not have school tomorrow. Obviously, there is a ton to process right now of what next steps will be, and even what those conversations will look like, in anticipating that hopefully sooner rather than later this person will be in custody.
Yeah, and we appreciate your patience with us. I mean, we generally try to be a well-oiled machine when we're talking, but we are literally hearing people, reading things, talking to each other, talking to our field crew, and learning all of this live together. So everything we're hearing, we're literally spitting out to you. Once it's confirmed and we can verify it's actually true. So that's the main point.
And that's a tricky point in a situation like this. You know, Lee, you mentioned it earlier. It's easy to see a post on social media and believe it. And as journalists, that's our job to weed through that of what is accurate, where is the source, who is telling us that. So again, we're doing everything we can to confirm and double confirm and make sure the information we are getting to you is accurate. So just keep that in mind as you are seeing other information out there.
Maine State Police Commissioner is going to be talking eventually. At least that's the goal from Maine State Police, that will happen. So we're keeping an eye on that. We have a crew obviously there waiting for some official statement from Maine State Police about what's going on. Clearly, they're very busy right now. This is the person they're looking for. So press conference is probably not front of mind right now. Right now, front of mind is to find that person and capture him and give everybody a chance to take a breath, to know that at least that part of this nightmare is going to be over. There will be plenty of nightmare to come as we learn more details, and they will be awful details, and we won't want to hear about them. But we will learn, and we will talk about it, and we will comfort each other, and we'll do what Mainers do. But first and foremost, this person has to be caught, and that's what all focuses are on right now, and that's what we're sitting here really waiting to happen, and hopefully it just happens sooner than later. So.
You know, just about 6 minutes ago, a statement from the FBI Boston Division came out. They certainly are involved in this at this point, that they are making their resources available to state agencies as is needed. And really the clear message from, obviously now the FBI out of Boston, to our own local police, urging you at home to be vigilant, report any and all suspicious activity or individuals to law enforcement immediately. This is an active search right now, is the latest we know, for this gunman. Who police reporting tonight claimed the lives of 22 people at a bowling alley on a Wednesday night in Lewiston, in the heart of our state.
We've talked about it now for 29 minutes. We've been listening to it for a couple hours now, and then, then you just said it. And this is real. Mm-hmm. This is not a nightmare. It's a nightmare situation. It's going to feel like a nightmare for time to come, and this is not. That's something that anybody in any state expects, right? So, but this is happening here. It's going to go down in history as an event that will change so many people's lives, and not in a good way. So this is just this very sad, awful thing to be sitting here talking to you guys about. Brian, between the two of us, we've probably got 50 years of doing something like this on television, and
yes.
This is not something that I think either one of us ever thought we'd be sitting next to each other doing. Two kids from Maine talking about something going on in our state. So, yeah.
But here we are tonight. And so again, you're looking at the images of the person police say is the gunman tonight. We've mentioned we have a number of crews in Lewiston and in Portland. A short time ago, our Jordan Sartor Francis shared a video with him on the streets, and we want to show you his perspective.
How y'all doing? Good. I'm Jordan Sartor Francis. I'm with News Center Maine. What just happened?
Somebody was running with a gun.
That's all we know. And then the cops came and had us all lay down.
So the cops had you all lay down,
Oh, yeah, down right here, yeah.
guns drawn at you all?
Yes.
And they saw somebody in this area?
No, he went in that building.
He went in that building? Did they clear the building?
No.
The guy, the subject went in that building?
All right, thank you all. Jordan Sauter Francis here in Lewiston.
So again, you just saw some video from our Jordan Sauter Francis in Lewiston tonight. Those are, frankly, it's a little hard to believe that he is on the streets of our communities right now talking about what has unfolded tonight, and hearing from people who found themselves in the middle of this, being told to get down, and seeing police with weapons and other people running by them. But that's the reality tonight that we're up against.
As scary of the reality of what you were told to do is the information that they did not have at the time, nor do we still have, of what's happening.
Right.
So, you know, when
Just a
you're
panic.
Yeah, you go into panic. You don't know what's going on. It's a massive search for information. Why am I locked in here? Why am I doing this? What does this mean? Is my mom okay? Is my dad okay? Are my kids okay? You know, and you know, in a lot of cases, I'm guessing people couldn't get in touch with each other. You know, depending where they were locked down, and that's frightening in and of itself in this day and age of communication to not have that. So. And
you know, near one of these shooting scenes, near these Spare Time Recreation bowling alley, is a Seniors Plus location. You know, we heard from one woman who was telling us, you know, they were in there and were concerned about what was going on. To that very point, Lee, of just immediate unknown. Clearly something had gone terribly wrong by what they saw. People we've seen in the video, people running through a parking lot. Certainly a large number of police cruisers arriving on scene with their weapons drawn. Our own Jack Molmud was telling us when he arrived at Spare Time tonight, they were met by armed officers telling them to simply get away, don't even be in the area, because in those immediate moments there was complete question about what was going on. At least at this point, we know that police have identified who they say is the gunman. We have seen those photos shared from what is presumably surveillance video from inside Spare Time. That's what it appears to be, of him walking in with what appears to be a weapon.
And the police real quick to get that out there. And again, I think you mentioned a little bit earlier, not for anybody to go out and look for this person. It's to really, if you're staying in place, which hopefully you are, you know, if you happen to be out and you see this person, to stay away from this person, stay away from that car, stay away from this person, for obvious reasons. And you know, communities all across our state that don't happen to even be in Androscoggin County are reacting to all the news tonight with statements, and therefore. Great New Gloucester, superintendent of schools, canceling school for Great New Gloucester tomorrow. Great New Gloucester is not next to Lewiston. So Central Maine Community College, obviously right there, is in Lewiston, and so this is what their campus looked like a little bit earlier tonight. Right now, that's Central Maine Medical Center. Sorry. Yeah. So you can see what the scene was like there. Obviously chaotic, but in this video anyway, looking relatively controlled. Yeah, just an absolute nightmare situation. Situations, Brian, that thank goodness the schools are trained for, the police are trained for, first responders are trained for. They do all the live active shooting trainings you could possibly do to be ready just in case this happens, with the ultimate hope that this will never happen.
Right.
But this is happening currently. It has happened throughout the night here, and all of the training and all of the work and all of the research and all of the efforts to have a plan, hopefully working as well, to keep as many people safe as possible as they had to react to what happened earlier tonight.
So obviously this is video from just a short time ago outside Central Maine Medical Center in Lewiston. Clearly a number of people outside the hospital, as Jack Molmud was showing us, one woman waiting to learn about the condition of her son. That in itself is a scene to be managed. Certainly high emotions there, a lot of questions unknown. One of these shooting locations was Spare Time Recreation in Lewiston. Again, Central Maine Medical Center is 2 miles down the road. It is a 6-minute drive. So that certainly was the fastest route for these families to go to, and certainly we imagine any injured who needed medical attention right away. So that distance, if there is good news, was close to get to a significant hospital for care. But as we have been seeing and hearing, multiple medical helicopters have been in and out of Lewiston tonight.
And as we touched on earlier, this is not a Maine story. This has become a national story. The world is watching us. This update from Senator King's office: President Biden reached out to Senator King, directly, offered any federal assistance he can provide to help the people of Maine. Senator King expressed his deep appreciation of the president for the outreach of support. And given the horrific nature of the events in Maine, Senator King is going to head to Maine on one of the first flights available. He wants to be home to support Lewiston any way he can. He originally had talked about Senator King coming home tomorrow after an important vote there, and it looks like that plan has changed. He's going to be coming home now, and the president is speaking directly with the senator to offer his support with anything that the state might need.
So again, we have heard from Governor Janet Mills tonight, certainly, and Senator Angus King, as Lee was just sharing with us. And there's definitely a sense of, in terms of the tone we are hearing from a number of our officials, of kind of a shock to, wow, okay, this is here, this is happening, and a sympathy and kind of a drive to, we need to find out what's happening, with an underlying message right now for everyone to stay safe. Make sure you are in a safe place. Again, as Lee was telling us a moment ago, the shelter in place was for Lewiston and Auburn. That has now been expanded county-wide for Androscoggin County tonight. And that is the message on your screen right now, that this is the person they are looking for tonight. We do anticipate, again, hearing from the Department of Public Safety tonight. We have a crew live at City Hall in Lewiston, where we are told that briefing will likely take place. We are awaiting word from them, of course, as our crews continue working to learn more about what's happening on the ground. That number is tough to watch on the bottom of your screen right now.
Yeah, it's just, you know, when you're turning on the television, if you haven't been with us for the past couple of hours, if you're just getting home, if your phone's been blowing up and you don't know why, and you put on the TV and you see, what? 22 people senselessly losing their lives tonight, and that's 22 people that we know about. And you know, certainly the instant fear is that number might go up once there's time to kind of pay more attention to that and less attention to trying to find this person. You know, and when I say person, I mean, you know, we've been told so far by law enforcement, officially confirmed, that there is at least one person they're looking for. You know, to be fair, that doesn't mean there's only one. They've just told us about one. So, you know, we keep our ears open to everything that we're hearing from law enforcement. Again, Maine State Police standing by to talk at any minute now, and whenever they're ready to do that, we'll certainly bring that to you so we can hear what they have to say officially. But just a chaotic scene in Lewiston, in Auburn, Sabattis, in Lisbon, and all the surrounding towns, the entire county on lockdown, as it should be. There's no reason for anybody to go anywhere right now until this is resolved, and that just can't happen quickly enough to get that resolved and at least give some peace to the people who are sitting here watching this materialize and develop live in front of our eyes, and give them some peace that at least this part of the nightmare would be over, and then we can, you know, just start to figure out what happened.
So there are a lot of unknowns right now, which is an unusual position for us to be in, because we are used to trying to give you information. So what we are sharing with you is what we know right now, as we are working to get new information all the time. And as that comes in, we'll have this here. Obviously, if you can stream us in any way and get the information when it comes in, because we are awaiting what we imagine will be some very helpful details when we hear from police about what they are going through right now. Again, some of the video you're looking at right now is from earlier this evening, outside those shooting scenes in Lewiston. I do believe that's the Spare Time Recreation Building in Lewiston you're looking at right now. Police cruisers outside. At one point we do see a number of people running through that parking lot there. And that's what we're waiting to learn more about, of how many people were there, how many people were injured and wounded. And again, that number that we know right now is that 22 people lost their lives tonight there. But that's where we're working to still get answers. To refresh your memory, these are the surveillance images from inside Spare Time. This is the gentleman police say they are looking for tonight. There's a close-up of his face, and also police sharing a picture of the vehicle they believe he is driving, that white Subaru Outback with a black front bumper. That search continues right now. Do we have an opportunity to go back to Jack in Lewiston, where we know there were a number of people gathering outside Central Maine Medical Center? I know he is actively working to talk with a number of them and try to hear more about what they are up against tonight, as we are also waiting on more information as well. So Jack does join us now live. Jack, bring us up to speed of what that scene looks like at this hour. We've seen your video, obviously, of a decent number of people waiting outside the hospital. Has there been any progress for those people there tonight?
No, Brian, actually standing here for the last half hour or so, the number of people has continued to trickle out. People leaving, the amount of cars here has emptied out. I think, it's hard to say what those families are going through right now. For the ones that did list off their loved one to people working at the hospital, found out that their loved one was one of those people affected. It's just unspeakable, and you can't imagine what somebody's going through standing there having to list off the information for their loved one and then hear that news. And while I was standing here earlier, when we did have several dozen people standing outside Central Maine Medical Center, I was standing there watching them, and that's when we saw that piece of information that 22 people were shot and killed tonight in Lewiston. And standing there looking at those families, you can't even imagine what they're thinking, what they're going through, the confusion, the shock. One woman I spoke with, her name was Julie. She moved to Lewiston when she was 17 or 18 years old, and she heard that her son was at the Schmenge's bar in Lewiston at the time of the shooting. She heard that her son was shot. She came here to Central Maine Medical Center, where she's been, and doesn't really know if her son is alive or dead. And she also told me that her ex-husband was at Schmenge's bar as well, and left minutes prior to when that shooting happened. She said that she called him, actually, about something, and he left after that. And that's when the shooting happened. So she does not know if her son is alive or dead. She tells me that she's frustrated, she's confused, overall sad. You can't even illustrate it. I don't think there's any words to really describe about that, what that's happening there. But as we continue to talk here outside Central Maine Medical Center, this is the hospital closest to where police are looking into those areas for that suspected shooter. Again, 22 people shot and killed here in Lewiston, where police say that they were looking at the Spare Time Recreation Center. That's in Lewiston. That's a bowling alley. When we pulled in there, the scene was hectic, full of police cars, not a single non-law enforcement person in sight. Truly just a jarring scene. And as I said earlier, I can't remember a time in which I've seen that many police cars there. But standing here outside Central Maine Medical Center, still an active hunt for the suspected shooter. Law enforcement actually had us move down here to this ramp to stay safe from the main road here. But as it stands right now, we're still trying to figure out more information as we stay here at Central Maine Medical Center. For now, we're live here. We'll toss it back to you guys.
Yeah, Jack, thank you. This just in from Lewiston Public Schools, too. Just obviously school, the furthest thing from everybody's mind right now. But releasing a statement, there will not be school tomorrow. At this time, no activity at all at Lewiston schools. There is a lot of unknown at this time. Information moves quickly, not always accurately. Please continue to shelter in place and get to safety. We'll continue to update you with information and next steps as they are appropriate. Stay close to your loved ones. Embrace them. Our prayers go to those who maybe lost someone tonight. Our prayers go out to all of those working to stop any further loss of life. And we will provide updates. That is a statement from Lewiston Public Schools.
So to reset, what we know at this hour is that 22 people lost their lives tonight, and a search continues right now for that gunman.
Yeah, Hannah Kumler is out in Lisbon right now at a boat launch where the police have been spending a lot of time focusing on that area. Hannah, what's going on there?
Hey, Lee. Yeah, hey, Brian. We were at a boat launch, or I should say we attempted to go to the boat launch. Where I'm standing right now and where you can see police are gathered behind me, that is Frost Hill Avenue. It's on the corner of Lisbon Street, and this is the Route 196 junction for people who are familiar with this area. Down Frost Hill Avenue is the way you get to the boat launch. Me and Sam Rogers, who's with me right now behind the camera, attempted to go down and were turned around by police who are clearly have now blocked off the road. Just within the last probably 15 minutes, these cars have pulled up. They're blocking the road here. They're blocking the road across. If you look across this Easy Mart right here, that is Lisbon Street that is being blocked. The road beside Sam is being blocked. And right behind that, speaking of schools that are going to be impacted by this, is Lisbon High School. No word yet on what their plans are, but all of this is happening right here in the center of Lisbon Falls. You have the town of Lisbon police who are on scene here, sheriffs, we've seen ambulance, fire. really, speaking to Lee, what you said earlier, the response has been pretty remarkable to see in the wake of this devastation. So not sure what's going on, but I will say that when we first got here, the first thing that Sam and I noticed was a helicopter in the sky. If it comes back by, we'll show you, but shining a light down. So clearly there is a large presence here, and we'll continue to keep you updated as we learn more. But I did want to just know, in terms of the response and in terms of what we've seen, we drove from Portland all the way down to Lisbon Falls, and along the way there were several police cars who were posted at exits or at the turnarounds of the highway, checking out vehicles that were passing by. So you hope you never have to use this training, but it seems that the response was quick and that clearly it's very heavy. So like I said, we are here. Now we are blocked in. This kind of happened after we arrived. So we'll continue to keep you posted just as we learn more and update you here from Lisbon Falls.
All right, Hannah Kumler live in Lisbon Falls, keeping an eye on what's happening there. Obviously a huge police presence, so for whatever reason they think they need to be there, that's obviously a point of interest for them.
Yeah, and to close Lisbon Street in itself is a big deal. That's a major road, obviously, that goes right into Lewiston. So certainly a wider impact than just Lewis and Auburn as we continue learning tonight of a number of other communities impacted.
No surprise, Auburn School Department closing all schools for tomorrow as well. Seems to be a familiar theme, certainly in that immediate area and even some of the outside areas as well.
Yes, I certainly wouldn't be surprised if others, if we continue to learn through the night, that other schools will be closed. I imagine there's a tremendous amount of again, processing what's happening in the immediate. There's a gunman who is not in custody, and then the processing of the impact to these dozens of families tonight and what you do tomorrow.
And not for nothing, this happened early enough tonight that kids were not in bed yet. My own child asked me, "Hey, Dad, where are you going? You don't work at night, you work in the morning." So I said, "Well, you know what, sweetie, I'm going to go in right now," because, you know, so there are going to be a lot of kids out there with a lot of questions and a lot of support that's going to be needed for them in their schools, whether this directly affects them or not. It's a scary situation because kids, like law enforcement, like EMS, have all been trained on what to do if. Right? And this is our if, and this is our now, this is our when. And so for a lot of kids out there, whether they're in the Androscoggin County or not, this is going to really hit close to home, literally and figuratively, and they're going to have a lot of questions and a lot of stuff to process and get through. It's going to be a lot of work for a lot of people.
You know, a number of us have touched on last night, you know, we're fortunate at News Center Maine that so many of us grew up here. This is home. This is where we grew up. We know these communities and we know these streets, and it is personal, and we know it's personal for you tonight. And this is all very difficult to process all around, that it happened in our home.
That's the good and the bad, because we're also likely to know somebody.
Correct.
You and I are likely going to talk tomorrow and say, "Hey, I didn't know, but my so-and-so was at the bar, was at the bowling alley," and that's
so many of you will be doing that.
Yeah, and that's, you know, that's going to be hard. So
Amanda Hill is one who often says Maine is just one big small town, for that reason. You know people everywhere. We, of course, are staying with you as we are waiting probably primarily at this point to hear from State Police. We are expecting to hear from them. We have a crew at Lewiston City Hall where we're told a briefing is likely coming. We anticipate we hope to learn at least some more information at that point. But right now, that's the big number we have right now is the number of people who are killed.
Well, and you have to, you know, we're certainly not here to guess or project what is or what isn't happening. You'd like to at least believe that with all the police presence in different areas, that they're not there by accident, that they have a purpose for being there, and that hopefully some type of resolution is closer than it is far away. And, you know, that would certainly be. It makes me feel better to think that that's true. So
it's okay to hold on to that.
I just hope that that is true, and that they're just getting closer, and that we're not hearing from Maine State Police because, you know, something is relatively imminent, so they might as well wait and tell us when they've got something, you know, that will be a little take some weight off of our shoulders for them to tell us.
Yeah,
so we're all just sitting around waiting, literally, for police to find at least this man. This is the one that we have been told about. That's who they're looking for, and you know. If there are other people, then I'm sure we'll hear about them as well, and if not, then hopefully they'll find this gentleman as soon as possible.
Do we have the sound from Mary Ellen Davis from earlier tonight? Chris Costa spoke with her as she was basically describing what was happening in the moment, that some of this was unfolding in Lewiston tonight. Really just, you can hear in her voice that this was not a normal phone call, as she was describing what was unfolding in her world. So we do want to hear part of that conversation with Chris Costa from earlier this evening.
Yeah, everybody's here is fine. We're cold. We're worried. There's one very elderly woman who is doing the best she can. We're being told to leave right now. We're going to the armory in Lewiston.
Okay. Are they telling you why? It's just to find a safer place?
I have to listen to the police.
Okay.
Okay. You can call me back in 15 minutes if you want.
Okay. Thanks, Mary Ellen. Be safe.
Never dealt with one of these in 27 years, so please be patient. I know you want to get out of here. We're going to do what we can to get you out of here.
So again, you were listening to that phone call with Chris Costa.
And you could hear the urgency in the voice of the law enforcement behind, you know, to make sure that to keep those people safe. And, you know, the safety is certainly first and foremost for the people who are currently safe and trying to keep them that way and mandating that they stay where they are. There's no reason to go anywhere right now until this gets resolved and to stay safe and so it doesn't get worse. RSU 16, Poland, Mechanic Falls, Minot, closing school tomorrow. Again, this is going to be a familiar theme, certainly in that area for sure.
Our Caroline LaCour is one of our live crews tonight. She is at the hospital in Portland. We can looks like some lights behind you there, Caroline. Describe for us what is going on at that scene tonight.
Hey, good evening, Brian. Yeah, I'm standing here right in front of Maine Medical Center here in Portland. As you can see behind me, there's a few police vehicles outside. So far, we have not seen any ambulances or emergency helicopters arrive from the possible victims of this mass casualty event. Maine Medical Center is the state's only level 1 trauma care center. The trauma care levels, level 1 through 5, sort of refers to the amount of resources that are available to take care of someone who has went through a trauma incident. The level 1 trauma care can provide the highest level of care for a patient in that sort of need. So Maine Medical Center can handle that sort of need, but we so far have not had any confirmation on if any of the victims of tonight's incident have arrived at Maine Medical Center. Earlier this evening, we did see an ambulance from Turner's arrive, but it is not confirmed if that is one of the victims. We're standing here. We'll be keeping you updated on if we learn any further information later on this evening. Back to you, Brian.
Caroline LaCour live at Maine Med tonight in Portland, where we would anticipate some of the injured would be taken tonight.
Sure. I mean, it's going to take, you know, if we're talking about something on this much of a mass scale, Lewiston is going to need some assistance from its friends and neighbors, and I'm assuming everybody in the area and the state will step up to help out. Not just schools canceling tomorrow. The Lewiston BMV branch will not be open tomorrow either. So if you're planning to go there, then you don't. Maine Medical Center has put out a statement as well. This is literally just coming in. So let me just get to this. So Maine Medical Center. Maine Medical Center has alerted on-call staff and created critical care and operating room capacity in anticipation of potential patient transports coming from the Lewiston shooting tonight. At this time, Maine Medical Center can confirm it will receive 1 patient transport from CMMC. Other Maine health facilities are also standing by, and they are preparing to provide care as well. Out of an abundance of caution and due to the dynamic nature of the situation, Maine Medical Center and other Maine health hospitals have closed the campuses to non-hospital personnel and non-patients until further notice. So
that's a big note.
Yeah, so in effect, Maine Medical Center is also now in lockdown. If you don't work there or you're not a patient there, you're not getting in there. So again, the words are out of an abundance of caution, should be noted, but that's to the seriousness of this and the fact that this person hasn't been caught, or person or people. Whoever's responsible has not been caught yet. Right. So we sit here and we certainly pray that it's over, right? I mean, we pray that that it's only the awful, ridiculously horrific number of 22 people. But until someone is caught, we don't know what's happening, and everybody needs to stay safe wherever you are. I mean, our state's big; it's not that big. So we just got to be careful and diligent about everything that's going on. This is what Central Maine Medical Center looked like earlier tonight, and again, at least 1 patient officially heading from there to Maine Medical Center as they wait for them. So just just a lot going on for a lot of people, and everybody trying to do their part to help. But first and foremost, and the most important part of this puzzle is catching this person responsible.
And this video from Central Maine Medical Center this afternoon, you obviously see a number of people standing outside. Our Jack Mulmut has been there for a while now, and clearly these are friends, family, relatives, presumably of people who were transported there after the shooting happened at the Spare Time Recreation Building just 2 miles north of Central Maine Medical Center, right there on Main Street in Lewiston. And as we have covered events like this in other communities and cities around our country for years now, as is often the case, there is a number of people who did not survive, and then there is a number of people who did and have a wide range of injuries. And that is also a big variable right now that we don't know. We have not heard any number of how many people were possibly transported to Central Maine Medical Center. We know that one now going from CMMC to Portland. But that will be a big question also for police tonight of what can they share with us in terms of how many other people were injured. Who else out there is struggling directly with these events tonight? Again, another thing we don't know is how many gunmen were involved. We know that there was one. We have seen his photo from police shared with us, and there is that question about were there others. There have been multiple scenes that police have been responding to throughout the night, not just in Lewiston. We saw Hannah Cumler at some kind of scene in Lisbon, which is not far down the road, obviously from there as well, with Lisbon Road closed as well. So wide scene there.
Full disclosure, we're working while we're talking to you, right? I mean, Brian and I are from here. I'm old. We all know a lot of people. So, yes. For people who have possible information, things they're willing to share, we're in constant communication with them while we're talking to you. So I'm not being rude.
Oh, not at all.
And I hate to leave you hanging and be talking about yourself, but
information.
I'm working on something here, and I'm just trying to do all the jobs at once. So when you're the dad of 8, you can juggle a lot of hats. So I'm at least multitasking in that regard. So.
We're getting everything we can, and from where I sit, I can see that there is a podium at Lewiston City Hall. I'm looking at a monitor with a number of microphone flags on it, and that's where this is a live picture of what I was just describing. This is where we anticipate hearing from state police at some point this evening, where hopefully we will have some more information to share with you. Hopefully some good news about their search for this gunman tonight. And I'm just checking some new information we just got as well.
I mean, can we say that?
That's from Lewiston Police on their Facebook page.
Okay. This is from Lewiston Police Department, the Maine Law Enforcement Bulletin. Maine State Police attempting to locate Robert Card, the person of interest regarding a mass shooting incident at Schmeggy's Bar and Grill and the Spare Time Recreation in Lewiston. Card is a trained firearms instructor believed to be in the Army Reserve stationed out of Saco. According to law enforcement, Card recently reported mental health issues, including hearing voices and threats to shoot up the National Guard base in Saco. He was also reported to have been committed to a mental health facility for 2 weeks in the summer of 2023. He's last known to be operating a white Subaru Outback with that black bumper with Maine license plates. Again, Robert Card, this is from Maine Law Enforcement, is who they're looking for. The picture right there on your screen, the same person who's been in the video that we've been showing you tonight with the same car that we've been showing you as well. And obviously, based on the information that was just given to us, certainly a very dangerous person. I think we've seen that tonight, and his background seems to warrant that as well. And this is the person that they're looking for. That's the car they're looking for. And again, his name officially identified by law enforcement as Robert Card, who is a Army Reserve stationed out of Saco. Yeah, we're going to read the whole thing again, just so you guys can get that. Okay.
I would not read that one. I would go down.
Yep.
I'm gonna send it directly to the bottom of this.
Okay.
So again, we just got information in moments ago. We were just chatting with Chris Costa, our colleague. We just got information moments ago about the specific suspect police say they are looking for. His photo is on your screen right now. Robert Card is his name. this is who this is focused around tonight. We've been looking at the photo of the car they believe he was driving tonight, that white Subaru Outback with a black bumper. And now they are sharing this photo, again from state police tonight, or from law enforcement tonight, about the person they are looking for at this hour.
So that's the one. If you go back to your teams.
Working to pull up that information again,
Okay.
the specific details police described.
Yep, so Lewiston Police Department released it. So the picture that we just showed you, law enforcement attempting to locate Robert Card. They've got a birth date here of April 4th, 1983. As a person of interest regarding the mass shooting at Schmenge's Bar and Spare Time Rack tonight, Card should be considered armed and dangerous, and please contact law enforcement if you happen to be aware of his whereabouts. This is from the Lewiston Police Department. That's the picture, that's the description. Again, April 4th, 1983 birth date. Robert Card is who they're looking for.
So that puts him at 40. And this is the suspect they, as far as we know, are still looking for tonight. And again, with that description of the vehicle he is believed to have been in, that's on your screen right now. That's the photo of the car they say he was driving tonight. That white Subaru Outback, again with the black bumper. You can see just the edge of it on the left side of your screen right there. So again, that info just came in from Lewiston Police, describing and identifying for the first time by more than just a photograph who they are searching for right now. And again, because of that search, that shelter in place has expanded from, first it was Lewiston, Auburn, and now it is all of Androscoggin County at this hour.
All right, let's go to Jack Mulmud, who I believe is still outside the hospital, Central Maine Medical Center in Lewiston. Hey, Jack.
That's right. Hey, Lee and Brian. You know, standing outside here out of Central Maine Medical Center, this is the hospital, the closest location to where that shooting took place, taking on the bulk of the victims here in this shooting that claimed the lives of 22 people here in Lewiston this evening. And as we've been talking throughout this night, much more of a tragedy than Lewiston. It involves Maine and the nation here as we reel in the loss of these 22 people. But standing outside here of Central Maine Medical Center earlier, as I said, we saw dozens of people waiting outside to find out any details on their loved ones, people giving their names of their loved ones, people working here to see if their loved one is in there or if their loved one survived or not from that shooting that took place, with the suspect still on the run there, with the entire Androscoggin County under a lockdown. And as you guys have said, that man that is on the loose, police are saying to look out for the man named Robert Card. You guys saw his photo there. And we've seen those photos. He's believed to be driving a white Subaru with a black bumper. He's around 40 years old. He should be considered armed and dangerous. Again, just a quick reminder for that. But to my left here, you could see the main entrance of the hospital. You see armed security guards there. They have been standing there now for the last 2 hours, making sure people can enter and leave safely. You can only imagine, just imagine the sensitivity and the shock that parents and families are facing as they approach this hospital to understand more about the situation and how it may have impacted their loved one. Nurses, first responders, doctors that we've seen walking in and out of here have just been, it's hard to describe what's going on here because it's just been such pure shock. We've talked about this often, how you prepare for this every day, but when the day comes like this, it's totally different. You know, some of those people that were staying out here are still waiting for answers to see if their loved one is safe or not. We spoke with a woman named Julie who moved to Lewiston when she was 17 years old. Last we spoke to her, she still does not know if her son is alive or dead. And she said he was in that shooting at Schmenge's Bar here in Lewiston. And she said she showed up here when she heard her son was shot, and she's still waiting to hear more. Let's go in and hear a little bit of what she has to say.
My ex-husband and my son were playing pool, and next thing I know, I saw on Facebook that there was a shooting at Schmenge's where they were playing, and then nobody would tell us anything. Just go to CMMC. His wife, his son, my ex-husband are here. Friends are here. We're all waiting, and we've heard nothing. They won't tell us if he's alive, if he's in critical condition, if he's passed. They won't tell us anything.
They told us that this is an active shooting. And while so many people, just like Julie, are just trying to understand the situation, us here are also trying to understand the gravity. It's hard to wrap your head around the pure human loss of life that has happened here. All the while we're talking about this, there have been multiple life flight helicopters landing here at Central Maine Medical Center. It is one of the sources for life flight helicopters. We've seen at least more than a dozen over the last 2 hours fly in and out of here, seemingly transporting patients out of here. But as we've been talking, it's an important reminder for our audience that there still is an active lockdown here in Androscoggin County. That means lock your doors, do not drive, stay inside as much as you can, and keep following for updates from law enforcement and us here on News Center as we try our best to learn more information that's going down here. But for now, we're live here in Lewiston outside Central Maine Medical Center. We'll toss it back to you, Zach, Amanda.
Jack Mulmond live outside of CMMC, as he just said, and he's talking about how difficult this is for a lot of families. Thank you for sticking with us. I'm Amanda Hill. This is Zach Blanchard.
Yeah, an incredibly difficult night for our state and for the country. We are just receiving statements from Senator King and Susan Collins saying that they've been in touch with President Joe Biden, all about Lewiston, Maine, getting the headline tonight that at least 22 people killed in an active shooter situation. Folks just out for the night at a bar and grill in Lewiston, out for a bowling league after work.
Yeah, and if you are just joining us, this is where police have really focused their investigation at Spare Time Recreation. That's a bowling alley in Lewiston that's on Mollison Way. Also at Schmeggy's Bar and Grill, which is on Lincoln Street. It's about 4 miles from Spare Time Recreation there. We have also been told about some police activity in Lisbon Falls. We have our Hannah Cumler there. She's been briefing us on some of the activity there, but this is who police have been focusing their search on. This is Robert Card. He is 40 years old. Again, police are asking anyone to keep an eye out for him. If you do see him, obviously call your local police department and let them know. Do not approach him. He is considered armed and dangerous.
So again, take a close look at your screen there. This is the man police are looking for. Robert Card, 40 years old. They say he is the man who carried out the mass shooting at Schmeggy's Bar and Spare Time Recreation earlier this evening. Card is again considered armed and dangerous. If you know where he might be, take a look at your screen. If you know where this man is this evening, please give police a call. We are also waiting to hear more from police. They are expected to hold a press conference in just moments, I believe. We have a shot of that. The podium there, getting ready to hear from state police as well as local officials. I guess we don't have that shot right now, but as soon as state police and other agencies are prepared to speak there, we will carry it live right here on News Center Maine.
And we thank you for sticking with us through this coverage. I know this is difficult for many of you to see this coverage. It's difficult for us to report on it. Maine is obviously a small town. It's our hometown, and it's difficult to see. And this has become such a big thing. You've probably seen coverage on a lot of the national stations. The president has been briefed on what's going on. At this point, the FBI in Boston has gotten involved in this investigation. We know the ATF in Boston also joining in on this investigation. So a lot of agencies are involved in this. This is a big deal. And to put this into perspective, what we know from NBC News, they confirmed with Lewiston PD, 22 people killed in this one act of violence. Last year, Maine had 29 homicides overall. Through the year, 29 homicides in Maine. This is 22 in one night.
Yeah, you can see this video here from earlier, people just fleeing the scene. We see these images over and over again. We say repeatedly, it hasn't happened in Maine. Tonight it has. And as you at home are trying to make sense of this, trying to process this, I want to reiterate again, as Amanda said, you're not alone in this. There's help out there. If you feel like this moment is tough, please confide in your loved ones, hug your loved ones tonight. There are also, this happened early enough that there were likely kids who were awake to see this on the TV. So please keep an eye on them. Lewiston Public Schools announcing
just well over an hour ago now, I guess, that school will not be in session tomorrow.
As well as Auburn.
Yep, as well as Auburn. The superintendent releasing a statement to please continue to shelter in place, of course. The Lewiston superintendent will continue to update you with information and next steps, saying our prayers go out to those who lost someone tonight. Our prayers go out to all those working to stop further loss of life. So again, several schools in the area, not just Lewiston, Auburn as well. I think there's some others coming in.
Even extending out, we know Mechanic Falls has closed, Poland, Brunswick, Gray New Gloucester. We heard earlier from Central Maine Community College, that's the college there in Auburn. They were saying that they will be closed tomorrow, and they are very aware of the situation. Earlier, Bates College was actually in lockdown. We heard from officials there. Still very much active in that area.
Yeah, and obviously this is a situation that, again, is not just impacting Lewiston, it's impacting all of these communities. And when you're talking about schools, one of the largest school districts in the state, Bonnie Eagle, even releasing a statement that they haven't decided whether or not to hold classes tomorrow, but they are awake right now. School leaders across the state really trying to make sense of this, making sure that students and families are supported as we're all trying to make sense of what happened in Lewiston tonight. Just to reiterate for you, at least 22 people killed in an active shooting in Lewiston. This is the man police are looking for. If you know who he is, if you've seen him, please give police a call. This is Robert Card. Police are considering him a person of interest in that shooting at Schmenge's Bar and Spare Time Recreation earlier this evening. They still have not been able to apprehend him. They're also looking for this white car here. They say there's a black bumper on the front. They're trying to locate Card, and they say he should be considered armed and dangerous. So if you happen to see this car, if you happen to see Card himself, do not approach. This image believed to be Card earlier this evening walking in to Spare Time Recreation. Definitely a hard security footage to watch there.
Very disturbing to see, but very important to see as well. And we know our Jack Molmid has been live outside of Central Maine Medical Center. We also have someone outside of Maine Medical Center in Portland, where they're expecting at least one patient, they told us, is going there. And just to put into perspective how much this is affecting our hospitals here, that they even said, out of an abundance of caution and due to the dynamic nature of the situation, Maine Medical Center and other Maine Health hospitals have closed their campuses to non-hospital personnel and non-patients until further notice. So, you know, people can't even go to visit loved ones who are in the hospital right now. This is very much affecting our, you know, and we know our hospitals prepare for these things.
Absolutely.
We know our police prepare for these things, but this is such a widespread event that I don't think anyone can really be ready for this.
Absolutely, and I think we have that shot now of the podium in Lewiston City Hall. Our reporters and several other reporters from across the state have been kind of stationed there, awaiting a press conference from state police. I imagine other local officials, likely the mayors of Lewiston and Auburn, are there. Perhaps even the governor likely to speak. You can see the microphones there from news organizations across the state there at Lewiston City Hall. And as soon as that press conference gets underway, we will be sure to bring it to you. Alex Haskell standing by there.
And just to reiterate what's going on here, active shooter in Lewiston, and the areas of focus have been Schmenge's Bar and Grill on Lincoln Street and Spare Time Recreation on Mollison Way. They're about 4 miles apart, and at this point we know that at least 22 people have been killed. That's what NBC News is telling us. You can bet a lot more people have been injured. We know the hospitals are dealing with all of that, and we have reporters in various locations. There was police activity happening in Lisbon Falls. Our Hannah Kumler was there. Our Sam Olson is around Birch Street in Lewiston. She said about 50 or so police are at a staging area there. So we're certainly keeping an eye on what's going on. But again, this all remains very active.
Right, as police from multiple agencies, state and federal, it even seems now, are trying to track down this man. Take a look at your screen. Robert Card, he's 40 years old. He is the person police say opened fire at Spare Time and Schmenge's earlier this evening. And this is really having an effect on all across the state. Congressman Jared Golden, who is from Lewiston, represents District 2, sharing a statement saying, like all Mainers, I'm horrified by the events in Lewiston tonight. This is my hometown. Right now, all of us are looking to local law enforcement as they gain control of the situation and gather information. Our hearts break for those who are affected, and we encourage everyone to follow the directions of the authorities as they conduct their work.
Also, Congresswoman Shelley Pingree saying, I am aware of and have been briefed on the active shooter situation in Lewiston. I urge all people in the area to follow the direction of state and local enforcement, which they have been saying, please shelter in place, lock your doors, stay off the roads, let them. Clearly, they've been very active in Lewiston and in Lisbon Falls, so just let them have reign of the roads and where they need to be, but definitely lock your doors.
Yeah, I want to actually see if we can pull up some video because I want to focus on the human element of this. Jack Mulman was at Central Maine Medical Center. I believe we have some video there. There were families kind of gathered outside the door. You can see even inside the hospital, it looks like they're staging hospital beds in what appear to be hallways, just because this is such a large situation for them to respond to. Family members there just waiting to hear the news, communicating with what appears to be maybe hospital staff, going through perhaps names of victims. These families just absolutely likely heartbroken, anxious. Jack even said some he spoke to were angry about what happened tonight, and to see that many people just swarm around a hospital in the state of Maine is not something we've ever seen before.
Never, never. And do we have the sound queued up, guys? I know Jack had spoken with a woman who was just waiting to hear word on her son.
A little freaked out. I want to know. You know what I mean? He's a young man. They shouldn't leave us hanging like this. Just tell us. I feel so bad for his wife. I mean, my kid, I don't know what's going on with him.
They told us that.
Wow. So just that sheer panic, I can't even begin to fathom what those families are experiencing tonight. Yeah. I believe we have News Center Maine's Hannah Kumler joining us now. She's live in Lisbon Falls, where there's a lot of police activity there. Hannah, what are you seeing?
Hey, Zach. Yeah, we've actually changed location. Before, when we saw you last time, we were across the street here. Now we're right in front of Lisbon High School, which you can see. But we were actually instructed to leave. An officer came over to us who was heavily armed and said, do with this information what you will, but we are working a scene a half mile away, and I don't know how safe it is for you to be here. When I asked, okay, should we get in our car or leave? He said, I would not be here. So Sam and I packed up and came a little bit further away. I want to tell you, though, what happened while we were waiting from my last live shot to this current one. There's a police presence, a strong one, blocking Frost Hill Ave, which is what I told you last time. It's a road that we attempted to go down, but we're turned around. We were trying to get to a boat launch at the end of that road, and now that road is completely blocked off. There is, I don't know, probably 15 police vehicles in total over there, but within like a 5-minute stretch, it really seemed like police were gearing up, loading weapons and putting them on, and then all of their lights went off. That's the only thing we observed before we were instructed to leave. Now, we have been here at Lisbon High School for a few minutes since, and we can't see anything that is happening, but we were told that it is unsafe to be where we were, and so of course we did leave, and we'll continue to keep you updated. For those who missed us last time, we're in Lisbon Falls here, and when we arrived, there was a chopper that's circling. I don't know if you can hear it, but it's still up there. We're going to try to see if we can capture it here for you. It has been circling now.
now, or is this mostly just police presence?
I should say, yeah, that's a great distinction, Amanda, that it is closed down. If Sam, can you pan over next to the gas station there? You can see where there's a sheriff's vehicle parked. That's where it stops. So vehicles are allowed to travel up to that point, and then it's kind of, do you live around here? Are you traveling through? And there's kind of almost like a checkpoint situation that's happening. So it's really only roads that are accessible to the Androscoggin River, which is in that direction. So kind of strategic blocks for the police, I'd say.
Anna Kumler live in Lisbon Falls tonight. Thanks so much. We'll check back in with you in a bit. Of course, the activity there is all related to police trying to track down the suspect. We want to pull that picture up for you again, if possible. This is Robert Card. Take a look at your screen. 40 years old. He's the person police say opened fire at those two locations in Lewiston earlier this evening. If you see him, police say he is considered armed and dangerous, so do not approach him, but call police right away.
I want to read this statement, too, from Senator Susan Collins. We mentioned that all of Maine's delegation has been completely keyed in on this, but she mentioned that as our state mourns this horrific mass shooting, we appreciate the support we've received from all across the country, including the call I received from President Biden offering assistance. So the president clearly clued in on this. We know, again, that the FBI in Boston has offered their assistance in this investigation. A lot of agencies involved in this tonight.
Absolutely, and the president also in touch with other members of Maine's congressional delegation, including Senator Angus King. So this is having an effect not just here in Maine, but across the country this evening. I also want to point out that Bates College in the Lewiston-Auburn area is in lockdown right now as well. We're hearing about some police activity there too. We'll, of course, as soon as we get more information about exactly what's happening there, we'll keep you updated as well.
Thank you to everyone too who has been sending us updates and video from what they see from their homes. Obviously, very, very active throughout Lewiston this evening. We're seeing police cars in multiple areas, and we know there's definitely a heavy police presence outside of Central Maine Medical Center where a lot of these victims have been taken. We know that at least one patient was being taken to Maine Medical Center in Portland, which is where they can handle a little bit higher levels of trauma. Obviously, Central Maine Medical Center obviously set up for trauma as well, but I'm sure they're overloaded with the number of people. We saw the crowds standing out there waiting to hear anything.
Yeah. Tough night indeed. I want to see if we have that video from outside of Central Maine Medical Center, but I also want to bring us back to where this all started. I don't know if we have that video ready. This happened again on a Wednesday night, when folks were just gathered after work for some bowling leagues out at a restaurant, when police say this man, Robert Card, who's captured on surveillance video there, entered the bowling alley and then apparently the restaurant at some point. We don't know the exact timeline. They're also looking for that white Subaru Outback you just saw. You can see people just running from the scene.
This is spare time right now, or it was a few hours ago. That was, that area was certainly cleared out. We definitely heard from Mary Ellen Davis as well, who happened to be at the senior center across the way. She was with a knitting group. They were evacuated by police. We know that in that area of Molliston Way, there in Lewiston, there are a few restaurants, and like you said, Zach, Wednesday night you have families that are out. You had a bowling league that was at spare time recreation. A lot of people affected by this, and we even heard even in Auburn across the bridge, there were restaurants and bars that were going into lockdown. There were kids who were playing hockey at the rink in Auburn who had to stop playing, and parents had to come pick them up. I mean, a very scary situation in both communities this evening.
Yeah. All right, so we're going to actually hear from Mary Ellen. Chris Costa spoke to her earlier. Take a listen to that.
The police stormed the building when we alerted them to the fact that one of the back doors had been left ajar. So we were told quite sternly to get out of the building. There were about as many police officers in the building as there were knitters.
Oh, wow. Is this a big building?
Seniors Plus?
Yes.
No, it's just a one-story building. Fortunately, almost all the lights are motion censored. So if anybody had come down any of the hallways or something like that, we would have seen them coming long before we would have heard them.
Okay.
So
they evacuated you from the building to make sure that.
Right now, because we're outside standing in the cold.
Sorry, can you say that again?
We're outside standing in the cold. We're about as safe as we can be right now.
Because so they took you out of the building because they needed to search the building in case someone was hiding in there. Is that your understanding?
Yes.
Okay, and they didn't find anybody.
To the best of my knowledge, the shooter is still loose.
Has anybody told you officially how many shooters there are?
No.
Okay.
Again, that was Mary Ellen Davis. She was at the senior center across the way from Spare Time Recreation, just recapping her ordeal there, where police came to their building and made them evacuate.
Yeah, and of course that was the scene across a number of buildings in that area. There are other restaurants, other venues. You mentioned earlier kids at the hockey rink. So many people had to do just what she did, shelter in place, not knowing what was going on outside the doors. Hopefully many of them have now gotten to safety if they could, as police search for that gunman. We're thinking here, some people have asked, what about blood donations at a time like this? With all these folks flooding to the hospitals, they desperately need blood when they're treating these patients. So we did reach out to the Red Cross, and they tell us they've been working to overcome a blood shortage since mid-September through its national inventory. I'm just reading right off the email here. The Red Cross can provide much-needed blood wherever and whenever the need arises, thanks to volunteer blood donations who step up every day to save lives. So they are grateful for donors. They did mention that their center in Auburn is currently on lockdown, but they are planning to adjust if there are any people who are willing to donate blood at a time like this.
Certainly worth checking in with them, I would say, tomorrow. Yes. Let things sort of calm down a little bit, but sure, the shortage, the need is definitely going to be great tomorrow. Also worth reminding people that police are looking for 40-year-old Robert Card. I know we've been sharing his photo, but he is the man believed to be, he is the person of interest in this shooting. We do know that 22 people have been killed. That's from NBC, who got that information from Lewiston Police. And again, we're still waiting to hear from police tonight. Our Alex Haskell is live at the Lewiston City Hall, where Lewiston Police, Androscoggin County Sheriffs, and Maine State Police have all gathered. And it sounds like the ATF from Boston is on their way there, if they're not there yet, to all sort of regroup and gather all of the information and let all of us know exactly what's going on, and hopefully we have a resolution to this very soon. But in the meantime, they're asking everyone to shelter in place, lock your doors.
And we've said that number 22, at least 22, over and over and over again tonight. Those are human beings. Those are moms, dads, brothers, and sisters. To put it into perspective, last year in Maine there were 29 homicides. Today alone, 22 people died.
That's a big number, and it's something that we here in Maine have never seen. And obviously, it's a big deal. A lot of national news networks have been picking this up and covering this because this affects a lot of people. We're hearing that the police are getting ready to do a press conference, so we'll get to that the minute we see them come up to the podium there. We're keeping an eye on that. But again, just to remind you that this has been a very active scene all night tonight. We first got word of it around 6:30 tonight, and so we've had reporters on scenes, in multiple scenes. We've been at Spare Time Recreation, Schmenge's Bar and Grill you see there on Lincoln. All right, we're going to toss over to police at Lewiston City Hall.
Thank you for joining us here this evening. My name is Mike Sawchuk. I'm the Commissioner for the Department of Public Safety here in Maine. We truly do appreciate your patience and your partnership as we work with all of our partners across the law enforcement spectrum at all levels, local, state, county, and federal, to address and investigate these violent crimes that occurred in the city of Lewiston this evening. As you know, this is an experienced group. We won't have a lot of Q&A here this evening. This still is very fresh. It's new. It's new for all of us. And our focus is on the investigation and getting this right the first time. And we're doing that with our partners. And we do appreciate you putting out information from time to time. Moving forward, we would appreciate it if you got that information from us so that we knew that it was accurate. And that is incredibly important for all of us from an investigative standpoint and from a public safety standpoint, that we have a unified front with this information as we release it. The delay in coming here with you now is simply because we want to confirm information from our end. We want to make sure the information we're giving you and the information that goes out to the general public is accurate. So we do have some information here that we will release. It is here on the podium. And this is a general caution to the public that approximately 6:56 this evening, a couple of shooting incidents occurred here with multiple casualties in the city of Lewiston. And police are currently searching for a Robert R. Card, 4/4 of 1983 of Bowdoin. Card is considered armed and dangerous. He is a person of interest, however, and that's what we'll label him at moving forward until that changes. If people see him, they should not approach Card or make contact with him in any way. The shelter-in-place order that currently stands in Lewiston remains. A vehicle, which was a vehicle of interest in this incident, was located in Lisbon, and we are now also asking residents in Lisbon to shelter in place. So please share that information with communities as well. If anybody sees Mr. Card or has any additional information reference to these two shootings in the city of Lewiston, please contact 911. If they see anything suspicious, please feel free to call their local authorities. We have literally hundreds of police officers working around the state of Maine to investigate this case, to locate Mr. Card, who again is a person of interest and a person of interest only. And we'll continue to gather information so that we can bring the suspect to justice and ultimately seek prosecution down the road. This release also includes a photo, which I believe I have seen from various sources. I would also let you know that we have created a reunification location, and that would be at the Auburn Middle School, so in the neighboring community of Auburn, at 38 Falcon Drive. Again, that's the Auburn Middle School. And when I say reunification center or location, what that means is that if somebody has a question or they have a concern, they can't find a loved one, they believe that a friend or a family member may be involved in what occurred here tonight in Lewiston, that they could respond to that location. We will have some of our behavioral health liaisons, counselors on site, and we'll also be providing information as it becomes available to us. As you can imagine, and as you know, there are multiple scenes in the city, to include multiple hospitals, multiple follow-ups, a lot of witnesses we're speaking with, and a lot of leads. The general public has been very cooperative and very forthcoming with information. So I would expect if we have additional information, we'll be happy to come back and share it with you. I know that from the city of Lewiston standpoint, probably going to close City Hall after this briefing and probably move everybody out. But again, we appreciate your partnership and your patience. I would offer to take questions just so you know that I probably won't have answers. And as long as you know that going in, there's no disrespect intended in that. Feel free to ask a couple, and if I think we can get there, then I'm happy to answer those. If not, we do have work to do on behalf of our communities, and that's our primary focus this evening.
There are many specific figures about casualties out there. The sheriff Sampson told me up as many as 20. I just wanted to give you the opportunity to set the record straight on that.
Yeah, I do appreciate that, and I know that there's been a lot of numbers out there. This is a very fluid situation, so the last thing I want to come up is give you a number and then 3 hours from now change that in one direction or another. So I don't have firm numbers on that, and when I do, we'll be happy to share those with you, because it's an important piece of healing and it's an important piece of information for all of us to be aware of, but I don't have a firm number on that.
But at least 16, right?
I think I just answered that question to say that I'm not going to give you any specific numbers. And there's been a lot of numbers all over the map all evening, and I don't think that that's helpful because it doesn't help family members. It certainly doesn't help the community to see, well, they just said this and they said that. So if you want accurate information, I'm prepared to give that to you when I have it. I don't have that right now.
Does the suspect have any known criminal history with law enforcement? Is he someone who's been on the radar of state police or local police, to your knowledge?
Well, Mr. Card, who we're speaking about right now, is a person of interest and a person of interest only, right? I'm not listing him as a suspect at this point, and we're not prepared to go into his background or anything else that we may be aware of. One more question?
You're only looking for one shooter, correct?
We're looking for this person of interest right now, and that's what we'll label and list and speak about at this particular moment. When we have additional information, I'm happy to share that. So thank you very much. I appreciate that. Again, thank you for your time. And I know Assistant City Manager O'Malley will make arrangements, I think, to move everybody out of the building. So thank you very much. I appreciate it.
These are the flyers that we were mentioning, so please grab those, and we'll talk to you again soon. Thank you very much.
That was Commissioner for Maine's Public Safety, Michael Soschuk, just briefing the press on what's going on. Really, we didn't get much information out of that, except that they continue to be searching for 40-year-old Robert Card, who they are calling a person of interest in this. And they did locate a vehicle that they believed he was in Lisbon, but it was empty. So they are asking people in Lisbon to shelter in place while they continue their search. Robert Card is believed to be armed and dangerous. They are also still asking people in Lewiston to shelter in place at this point.
Yeah, the only other major bit of information there was that there is a reunification center they've opened up as well. That's at the Auburn Middle School at 38 Falcon Court, I believe. So they have opened up a reunification center for families there. And in terms of the numbers, our reporting, we just want to be clear here. We are reporting at least 22 people killed in that Lewiston shooting. This is according to NBC News through the Lewiston Police Department. But as you heard there, Michael Soschuk, the Commissioner for Department of Public Safety, was not ready to firmly say just how many. And of course, this is tough for them. We understand taking reporters' questions like that. So they're trying to make sure that information is right before they officially say it. But we just want to be transparent about where that number is coming from on our end.
And of course, we certainly recognize this is very difficult for families to be watching and unsure of whether their loved ones, whether their friends were at Schmenge's or whether they were at Spare Time or somehow caught up in the midst of any of this, or maybe they have people in Lisbon Falls who are being asked to shelter in place, or in Lewiston being asked to shelter in place. But again, as Zach just mentioned, that reunification center at Auburn Middle School, 38 Falcon Drive, it's going to be a very important place tonight for a lot of these families and friends who don't have any answers. They haven't heard from, their father they tried to call, or their son they tried to call. And so that's a place where you can go to get some information. You can find out more information on a loved one. They also have a behavioral health liaison there, which is going to be very, very important moving forward.
Yeah, in the days and even weeks ahead, it is going to be a process for everyone to come to grips with this, especially those families who are directly impacted. We can't even imagine what they're going through tonight. Again, I do want to pull up this picture. This is the man police say they are looking for tonight, and that is the car they say they did find empty in Lisbon. If you know anything about where Robert Card of Bowdoin is, he's 40 years old. You were asked to call police. They say you can just call 911 if you happen to see him tonight, because this is a manhunt at this point. They are the hundreds of officers from across the state and even New England coming in to try and track this man down. His picture right there on your screen. They are saying he is a person of interest in this case tonight.
And again, if you don't have to go to this reunification center in Auburn Middle School, please stay home. Stay where you are. Shelter in place is the message to everyone right now. But if you are very concerned about your loved ones, if you're maybe waiting outside of Central Maine Medical Center, again, the reunification center they're sending people to is at the Auburn Middle School on Falcon Drive. But again, if you don't have to be out, that's the big message from police is stay at home. Even Bates College in Lewiston is on lockdown right now. They're telling their students to stay put.
Right, and we're getting a number of schools announcing that they're canceling classes tomorrow. So we will try to get an updated list, but they seem to just be coming in more and more of schools in the greater Lewiston area saying, no, we're not going to bring kids in. It's just not the time for that. So families obviously check with your local school district. You probably received the text message or email tonight, but there are other schools that we have received messages from. If you haven't heard from your school, like Bonnie Eagle, the superintendent's acknowledging that they are weighing the decision and will make a final announcement in the morning, but of course understanding the gravity of the situation tonight.
And this is video from earlier tonight outside of Spare Time Recreation, and yet speaking on that school subject, we keep talking about how much this impacts people all over the state. There are schools in Poland, Mechanic Falls, Bowdoin, Brunswick, that have closed. And the reason I said Bowdoin is because that's where Robert Card is from. That's what police are telling us. But we know Poland, Mechanic Falls, Brunswick, Gray, New Gloucester, they're not directly close to Lewiston, but they're closing tomorrow. So definitely keep in touch with your school. If you have not gotten the text, keep an eye out on any decisions made. And again, at Auburn Middle School, there will be a behavioral health liaison there tonight. We just heard Commissioner Michael Soschuk with Maine's Public Safety Department talk about how this is still a very fluid situation. Still very active scenes all over Lewiston that we're hearing from our reporters, and still a very active scene in Lisbon Falls where our reporter Hannah Kumler is. Right now you're looking at video from Central Maine Medical Center where crowds have just gathered outside waiting for any sort of information on their people who were either at Schmenge's Bar and Grill tonight or at Spare Time Recreation.
Yeah, just seeing the number of people gather around that hospital tonight waiting for the news about their loved ones is quite unimaginable. I imagine they're trying to get some folks away from that hospital and get them to this center in Auburn, and just trying to kind of make sure things are set up for them so that they can get them the information they need.
We are still getting some photos and videos in from our reporters who are out on the scene, but they have been out there since we first heard of this situation. And we just heard from Michael Soschuk, who said the situation first happened around 6:56 tonight. You can imagine 6:56 on a Wednesday night. A lot of people out.
Are out of work.
Yeah.
At the bar, at the restaurant, at the bowling alley, just off of work, trying to relax with friends, probably family. And then the unimaginable happened, and I don't want to overstate that it wasn't just those people necessarily. It was also the entire Lewiston area that got that alert on their phone, right? Yeah. And was sheltered in place wherever they were, whether it was a grocery store or a hockey rink, getting that message on their phone and not knowing what was happening. Obviously, just a really terrifying situation tonight.
And we spoke with our reporter Alex Haskell a little